Your hydrangea is wilting every afternoon, so you're grabbing the hose and giving it more water. And that one habit is probably what's killing it. Here's the good news. This is one of the easiest mistakes to fix once you know what's actually happening under the soil. I'm Backyard Mentor, and if you're into growing a beautiful garden without turning it into a full-time job, you're in the right place. Today, 6 watering mistakes that are quietly wrecking hydrangeas in the August heat, and exactly how to fix each one. Let's get into number 1. Watering on a schedule, instead of checking the soil. Most people water hydrangeas every day in August, because it's hot, not because the plant actually needs it. Hidden problem. A fixed watering schedule ignores what's happening at the root level. Hydrangeas have a shallow, fibrous root system, and in heavy or clay-heavy soil, daily watering on top of natural humidity means those roots are sitting in water long after the plant needed a drink. Roots breathe. When soil stays saturated, oxygen gets pushed out of the pore spaces, and roots start to suffocate and rot. A hydrangea with rotting roots wilts in the afternoon sun, which looks exactly like a thirsty plant, so the instinct is to water even more. It's a downward spiral. The fix. Before watering, push a finger 2 to 3 inches into the soil near the root zone. If it's still damp, skip that day. Water deeply only when the top few inches have dried out. For most hydrangeas in August, that's typically every 2 to 3 days, not daily, unless you're in extreme heat or sandy soil. Bonus tip. A cheap moisture meter takes the guesswork out completely and is worth the $10 if you tend to want to help your plants a little too often. Shallow, frequent sips instead of deep soaks. Giving your hydrangea a quick splash every day feels responsible, but it's training the plant to fail. Hidden problem. Shallow watering only wets the top inch or 2 of soil. The roots that live down at 4 to 6 inches never get touched, so they never have a reason to grow deeper. Mechanism. Roots grow toward moisture. If water is always available right at the surface, roots stay shallow and close to the surface, exactly where soil heats up and dries out fastest in August sun. You end up with a plant that's completely dependent on you and extremely vulnerable to any heat spike or missed watering day. The fix. When you do water, water deeply and slowly, enough to saturate the top 6 to 8 inches of soil. A slow trickle from a hose for 15 to 20 minutes at the base, or a soaker hose left on low, works far better than a quick overhead spray. Deep soaks encourage roots to chase the moisture downward, where it's cooler and more stable. Bonus tip. If water is running off before it soaks in, you're going too fast. Slow down or water in 2 shorter rounds 10 minutes apart. Watering the leaves and flowers instead of the soil. Spraying the whole plant down with a hose feels like it's cooling everything off, but it sets up problems you won't see for days. Hidden problem. Wet foliage sitting in August humidity is one of the biggest triggers for fungal disease on hydrangeas, especially powdery mildew and leaf spot. Mechanism. Fungal spores need moisture and warmth to germinate, and a wet leaf surface that doesn't fully dry before evening gives them exactly that window. Water sitting on the big mophead flowers can also cause browning and premature fading, since droplets act like tiny magnifying lenses in direct sun. The fix. Aim the hose or watering can directly at the base of the plant, right at the soil line, and avoid the leaves and blooms entirely. If you're using a sprinkler system for the rest of the yard, consider hand watering hydrangeas separately, or adjusting the sprinkler head so it doesn't hit them. Bonus tip. If leaves do get wet from rain, that's fine. The issue is repeated, avoidable wetting from your own watering routine, not the occasional storm. Watering in the middle of the day. Midday watering feels like the obvious move when you see wilting at 2 p.m., but the timing is working against you. Hidden problem. A huge amount of water applied during peak heat evaporates before it ever reaches the root zone. Mechanism. Between roughly 11 a.m. and 4 p.m., soil surface temperatures and evaporation rates spike. Water poured on hot, dry soil at this time can lose a significant portion to evaporation within minutes, so the plant gets far less benefit than the same amount of water applied at a cooler hour. Worse, cold water hitting hot roots can shock the plant. The fix: water early in the morning, ideally before 9 a.m. This lets the soil absorb moisture while it's cool, and gives any incidental splash on leaves a full day to dry out before nightfall. If mornings aren't possible, early evening is the second best option, just early enough that foliage has time to dry before dark. Bonus tip: set a phone reminder for your watering window during August specifically. It's the one month where timing matters more than almost any other factor. Confusing heat stress wilt with drought wilt. This is the mistake that causes most of the other mistakes, not knowing the difference between a plant that's thirsty and a plant that's just hot. Hidden problem: hydrangeas, especially big leaf varieties, will droop dramatically in the afternoon heat even with completely moist soil. It's a natural, protective response, not a distress signal. Mechanism: large hydrangea leaves lose water to the air faster than the roots can pull it back up during peak afternoon heat. The plant temporarily wilts to reduce leaf surface exposure, then bounces back on its own once temperatures drop in the evening. If you water every time you see this, you're solving a problem that doesn't exist. The fix: check the plant again in the early morning, before the sun hits it. If it's perked back up and looks fine, the soil moisture was never the issue and no water was needed. Only treat it as a watering problem if the plant is still wilted first thing in the morning. Bonus tip: keep a simple mental log for a week. Morning check, afternoon check, and you'll quickly learn your specific plant's normal heat wilt pattern versus real drought stress. Skipping mulch and treating containers like in-ground beds. This last one isn't about the watering can at all. It's about what's happening to the water after it hits the ground. Hidden problem: bare soil around a hydrangea loses moisture to evaporation dramatically faster than mulched soil, and container hydrangeas dry out on a completely different timeline than ones planted in the ground. Mechanism: without a mulch layer, August sun bakes the top inches of soil daily, pulling moisture away before roots can use it, which then tempts you into daily watering, right back to mistake number one. Containers compound this because they heat up on all sides and drain faster, so the same watering schedule that works for an in-ground plant will starve a potted one. The fix: apply 2 to 3 inches of mulch around the base of in-ground hydrangeas, keeping it a few inches away from the stem itself. For containers, check soil moisture daily during heat waves, since pots can dry out in a single hot day, and consider moving portable containers to a spot with afternoon shade. Bonus tip: light-colored or terracotta pots stay cooler than dark plastic ones, worth factoring in if you're buying new containers this season.